Hello friends, it is Laura Victoria Ward here with a micro movement session with music by Jeff Gersh. So I'm going to start seated. I invite you to join me and I'm just going to take in the sensations of my body. So what it feels like to be in this human body today. And I'm allowing the music to inform my sensation. That could be from the inside or even from the outside, the sensation of vibration, the sensation of sound, but also sort of the hum of the movement, of the hum of the music, the kind of sensation that puts into my body. So inviting in really slow, fluid movement. And the micro movement could look like nothing. It could be almost imperceptible from the outside, but you want to be able to sense it and feel it from the inside. So I would also say that this is kind of micro into macro or macro into micro. Small parts are moving in tiny ways, but sometimes the larger shape is taking on a different flow. But the intention is to bring the awareness inside to sensation. So working with micro movement, we're building our proprioceptive awareness, our kinesthetic awareness, our interoception. So maybe you can start to feel your heartbeat, your pulse, the flow of your blood. The breath, the rise and fall of the breath. Maybe you can feel the movement of your clothes on your skin, or even the sensation of the air on your skin. Inviting you to take out the visual as much as is comfortable for you. So the more we drop out that visual, the more we can come into internal sensation. And drop out any kind of ideas of what your body looks like or feels like or should be. There's a great quote from Bonnie Bainbridge Cohen that says, embodiment is being with what is. It is what is now, right now, here in your body. That's my paraphrasing of that, but feeling into what is in your body, not what it should, could, or any other ouds, but just what is. And being present with that. And I want to say in a very loving, gentle manner. So when I drop into micro movement, most of the time it's not emotional at all. Every once in a while it is, but most of the time it's not. But I get feedback from a lot of people that when they start doing these sessions, they suddenly are like left in tears. It happens every time, like, ah. So it just might mean there's a lot to let go of, right? You're starting to comb away the cobwebs of your emotional life. All of it's stored in your body. Every cell knows everything that's happened to us in our lives, or every cell that's alive right now knows everything every other cell knows. So inviting yourself in to maybe even think with loving kindness on each cell. I think the cells on our skin, the surface of our skin, I read changes about once a month, but there are cells in our brains and in our hearts and in our eyeballs that are there from birth and they go with us until the end. So we've got these very young cells in our bodies, and we also have very old cells, or however old we are cells, or however old we are, like from the minute that cell was built in our mother's womb. So tuning into that sensation of being a fluid, whatever that sensation is. I'm telling you what my sensation of that is this fluidity. And it's almost like when I get into this kind of space, it's almost like I'm suspended. Like it takes no effort for me to hold my arms up or to move. It's not effortful. It's not moving from the muscles and the joints and the mechanical ideas of the body. It's more like being suspended in fluid. And as I sense into that, it's like the biomorphic tensegrity system of my whole body is in this sort of matrix-like interaction as my awareness is washing through, and the movement helps respond back to that awareness, like, oh yeah, it sort of brings up a sense of aliveness for me. So you could be laying down to do this, you could be on all fours. What I'm working with, or maybe thinking about, is just finding this sense of fluid aliveness in micro movement. In my torso. It's even in my legs, although I'm seated cross-legged, but I can feel from my sit bones the shifting and moving. So this is a very different sort of experiential way of being embodied, in body, with body, participating in the event that is being human in your body on a very conscious level, on a very awareness-based, bringing the consciousness in level. So the offer is to start to release some of the more rigid patterning that might be holding you back or holding you in or doing whatever it's doing, and freeing up the possibility of being human, freeing up the possibility of fluidity, freeing up the possibility of, I guess what I want to say, really tapping into that core, vital, alive life force. And when we tap into that, like, we're letting go of all these little extra bits and pieces that are holding and constricting. Like, we're letting them just drop and fall away. Or I am. I'm hoping to. That's the idea. And it's like these little spirals and DNA pathways or whatever are moving through my body. And as it's doing it, it's like it's re-informing myself of how it is to be in an easier way, how it is to be with less tension, with more acceptance, and with more humor. I love to talk about having a sense of humor in your body. Feeling into what that is. You could imagine yourself to be like a single-celled creature, just like suspended in a fluid environment. How would the movement of that single cell express? So when I do this, like, I'm tapping into something deeper, more primal in being, and maybe also more cosmic, more part of the stardust. Emily Conrad, the founder of Continuum, talks about the three anatomies: the primordial anatomy, the cosmic anatomy, and like that middle anatomy, the cultural anatomy. That's where we're usually, being who we are. I'm Laura, I'm like this. I do these things, I have to be like that. That's the holding pattern, right? If we want to shift the holding pattern, and now would be a really great time to start shifting the collective holding pattern in ways that are more sustainable, in ways that are more fluid, in ways that are more loving and kind. So if we can offer that sensation to our own animal body, to our own self, to our deep, let's say our intuition, our heart, our mind, this triad that's working together in one whole thing, if we can start to play with that so that the snowball that we're going on right now starts to melt a little bit, right? Melting the snowball, melting the hardness, melting the fight, finding something more soft and fluid, more animal aliveness, connected animal aliveness, relaxing and creating space inside our bodies, space to be what is more soulful for us, for the planet. For those around us, for the environment. And I'm talking really for the water, for the air, for the earth, for the humans. Can we start to imagine a more fluid, nurturing, nourishing, healthy way of being? I want to point out behind me this Christmas tree and just say that I'm a complete pagan. Yeah, I was raised very secularly with no religion at all. I did not even know really that I was of like Christian descent, but my ancestors back there are Norwegian, so somewhere in there is like the Edda and the Norwegian pantheon. And then there are some gods and goddesses from, religions through time that I really connect with. Usually the more wholeness pattern gods and goddesses like Inanna and Ereshkigal, there can be this but then there can also be this spaciousness. And maybe things arise for you while you're in your movement, while things are happening in your motion. Maybe like images pop up, or maybe even a to-do list or some creative idea. See if you can just bring it back into sensation. Or if necessary, go write down your idea and then let it go, set it free, and come back into awareness of movement, awareness dancing with itself. Awareness reflecting on itself through movement. Yeah, there's the Yemanja, the African into Haitian goddess, who is like the goddess who's looking in the water and seeing her reflection, and just letting that ripply reflection of water inside of us soften the world. Creating space and coherence. So when our systems are coherent, they're working together. Our lymphatic, skeletal muscular, or is it musculoskeletal? I always forget that. Endocrine, respiratory, circulatory, all the things in harmony. Just inviting any kind of blockages, any kind of things that are holding you tight or fast or blocking, let them soften. You don't have to release the floodgates, but just imagine softening that. Maybe softening the center or softening the edges. Tuning into the sensation of fluidity, of water. I'm going to end this, but I just want to thank Jeff Gersh, Ambient Fields. This is his music, which is so great for diving into sensation. And I want to thank you if you have made it this far. Bravo, well done, amazing. You can carry on your own. You can find his music on Bandcamp. It's Ambient Fields, Jeff Gersh, which is GEOFFGERSH. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. And if you are called to, please donate to keep the content coming. I'm on Venmo at Laura-Ward-30. Oh, yes, the truth of the world, which we're trying to change. Can we make it more sustainable? Can we make it more inclusive? inclusive of ourselves. Can you love and be loving towards yourself? Because if you can do it to other people.